everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'm Shivani Gupta. You're watching our special presentation on the T20 World Cup, and it's been a forgetful one for Team India. Lots has been said on just why Team India failed to even make it to the semi-finals. But first up, we will break down the big picture. What does this early exit mean for Team India? Here's a look at how India has fared in the last 5 World Cups across formats. So remember, 2019 was the last one. We made the semi-final. Before that, also we made at least the knockout stages. But this is the first time in 9 years now that India has failed to go past the group stages. And that is why this is turning out to be a bitter pill to swallow as far as the Indian team is concerned, because if we continue our graphics on the screen as well, the last 5 editions have meant that India has, last 4 editions of the World Cup have meant that we've made it to the semi-finals. Remember, we even made it to the Champions Trophy final. But this is the first time in 9 years now that we have failed to go past to the last 4 stage. 2012 T20 World Cup, we crashed out in the group stage. Now, this is also a reminder of the fact that since the golden era under MS Dhoni, where we won 3 ICC trophies, we've had a run of drought. That elusive hunt for the ICC trophy continues. Since the 2013 Champions Trophy title, we've played 250 over World Cup. We played 3 T20 World Cup editions. We've even played 1 more Champions Trophy. And of course, the World Test Championship, which is a new format that has been started. And after 7 editions of championships, India continues to remain trophy-less since the 2013 Champions Trophy title. So this is also something that Virat Kohli wouldn't be too happy about, because he's ending his T20 stint as the captain at least without a title. So T20 World Cup debacle. The big question that we will be focusing on today also is, can India bounce back? Because remember, the next T20 World Cup is in 12 months. There's also, of course, another World Cup coming in the year after that. Let's first go across to our guest joining us, Wasim Jaffer, former India cricketer, Ayaz Memon, cricket writer, and Vimal Kumar, senior sports journalist, all with us on the show. So Wasim, after the golden run between 2007 and 2013 under Dhoni, there has been quite a lull, and that's why perhaps every big tournament hurts, because in the past we've gotten close, we even made some finals, semi-finals, but now for the first time in 9 years, we're getting knocked out in the early stage. That's just not something you expect from an Indian team.
Definitely not. I mean, this team was much, much better than that. We expected to definitely make, the top 8. But it was disappointing. The first 2 games were very disappointing, and that was the reason why we crashed out. And more than anything, the approach was disappointing in the most, crucial games. We didn't get teams like Afghanistan or maybe Scotland in the first or second game. We got the most important games in the first and second game, and we didn't play it up to our potential, I feel.
Right. Not to be hypercritical, Ayaz, but clearly there is a difference between MS Dhoni's era and Virat Kohli's era. Can we first begin by, just discussing what has been the biggest thing you thought has been lacking in Virat Kohli's captaincy? Clearly the results don't speak very highly.
Well, obviously, when it comes to crunch matches, there's something missing. There's in the jigsaw puzzle, one part is missing, where you reach a stage where you're looking so good, looking ready to take clinch the title. It happened with the Champions Trophy. It happened with the 2019 World Cup. It happened with the 2021 Test Championship, when it seemed that India were favorites, not just seemed. Even now, we started as favorites, but of course, this time we didn't even get into the semis. Now, earlier we've lost in the semis or in the final, which itself suggests that there's a gap which has to be bridged. You are not able to make that little leap, which goes from being in the semi-finals to being in the final and then winning the tournament. I just want to add a little thing here. This is about multi-nation tournaments where Virat's captaincy or Virat's record takes a beating. But otherwise, when you look at bilateral series, I mean, you mentioned MS Dhoni. The year India won the World Cup 2011, immediately after that, we went to England, we were beaten 4-0.
Yes.
6 months later, we went to Australia, we were beaten 4-0 into test matches. So it's a bit of a conundrum that this team, which has been winning matches in Australia, matches in England, has been beating every team in Test cricket and ODIs and T20s in bilateral contests. When it comes to multi-nation contests, something is lacking.
So, do you want to hazard a guess? What is that? That elusive something? Do you have something in your mind, Ayaz?
Yeah, I think that, more than just talking of intent, I think there needed to be a little more appreciation of other teams. Look, when you are such a good team, when Australia were a good team, everybody was trying to be like Australia. And it took them 10 years or 12 years to get to where Australia were. India was the first to reach that level. West Indies ruled for 10, 12 years. Now, India have not become that great a team. And that's a realization which must come in. You're still a damn good team, but you're not the champion team consistently. And that is something, when it comes to crunch situations, I think in this tournament at least, the specific roles decided for players were a bit of a blur. When you look at how New Zealand have performed or England have performed, they found players who have been assigned specific tasks and they're delivering, whether it's as finishers, as opening batsmen, as all-rounders. I think Vimal has been talking about this in our previous conversations, that you assign those tasks. That's the template, I would say, that works in T20 because the format is so short. Everybody has to fit into the jigsaw puzzle and deliver what he is supposed to do as a bowler and as a batsman. And that hasn't happened. It's led to confusion in selection policy, in batting order, and all of that, which has led to this setback.
So, Vimal, do you think that we did take it a little bit too lightly? We sauntered into the World Cup. We thought that, we definitely make it to the semis. Uske baad jo hoga dekha jayega.
I think rightly so. And some of the questions which Ayaz has raised, I think it clearly speaks about lack of imagination, lack of planning. So who will do that? Virat Kohli, obviously, it's easy to talk.
All the wins and loss goes against the captain's name. But what about the coach? Ravi Shastri, 1 month back. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Ravi Shastri, 1 month back, in an interview with The Guardian, he says that the only trophies matter. He says the world will not remember whatever you do in the T20 bilateral series. But at the same time, the coach goes on to say that he has achieved everything. The same coach, he has failed as a global trophy, not a single global trophy, and claiming, because it doesn't matter to him. We are too satisfied. Ravi Shastri, with all due credit, 2 massive Test series win in Australia. Apart from that, what he has? Who is going to question Ravi Shastri? Who is going to evaluate his performance?
Well, I think it's a little too late, isn't it? He's already at his tenure has already ended.
Shivani, my point is, somebody has to ask this question. Mr. Ravi Shastri, you took reign in 2014, 2016 semi-final defeat, 2015 World Cup semi-final defeat. Now, so what? You are such a knowledgeable person, such an articulate person. Why didn't you plan? Why leave everything to Virat? When it comes to claiming, boasting, you said this is the best Indian team, overseas team. When it comes to making tall claims, we should not forget why India won the 2011 World Cup. There was a Gary Custard in the back. Why Australia, an unfancied Australian team, won in 1987? Because there was a Bob Simpson. Why Australia dominated? Because there was a John Buchanan. Why Australia won in 99? Because there was a Geoff Marsh. So people who are there at the back of things, doing planning, not leaving everything to the captain's, plate. So that was missing and nobody talks about that. I'm really surprised.
No, I take your point. I was not questioning your point. My point only was that, now it is obviously we can only do a post-mortem. If you say that somebody needed to question this needed to happen a year, 2 years ago. But let me quickly give some 30 seconds to Wasim also. You've been listening to what Ayaz and Vimal are saying, Wasim. Clearly, if you get credit for winning titles, you add to your legacy, you'll have to take some criticism when you don't do well after a long stint. Such a long stint is not that easy to get in international sport, leave aside cricket. So you need to show for your tenure.
Yeah, I think it's unfair. I feel, obviously, Ayaz has put, a nail on the head that in bilateral series, we are, too far ahead of other nations. We have won in Australia twice, which no other team have done it, in the recent past. We won in England. We have beaten almost every team in T20, bilateral series. But when it comes to multi-nation tournament, when it comes to World Cup event, I think we were not very clear. And I did say that yesterday also that, if you take it 2019 World Cup, we were not sure who's going to bat number 4. We sticked with Ambati Rayudu for 18 months. And then suddenly we bought Vijay Shankar. Suddenly we played Kedar Jadhav and then Rishabh Rishabh Pant, and Mayank Agarwal came in the squad, who's not even played one-day international before that. So clearly, tactically we were very, very wrong. And even here, unfortunately, obviously we lost the tosses in two most crucial games. But, our planning against New Zealand, again, I goes back to the same thing that, sending Ishan Kishan to open and saving with Rohit Sharma, who's been opening all along. And that was something, which was missing, especially
that's actually
in those World Cup
unpardonable.
events.
If you cannot plan well for a big tournament, that's actually unpardonable with some of the biggest minds in the game.
And in all the games, we were not sure of our best 11. And going into such a big tournament, if you're not sure of your 11, then, we got to be ready for this result.
I said this once before. I'll just stick to this point one more time. I'll give you 30 seconds. We have to, play out some other reactions too. This has been, for me, the hallmark and a bad one for the Shastri Kohli era. They try too much, they chop and change too much. Nobody's really certain of their position. People have doubts in their mind which match they're going to play. Would you agree with that?
Not entirely. I think, look, the set of players hasn't changed much. If you look at it, the core team has remained the same. There have been people who have been in and out of the team, of the playing 11, yes. I think this has been particularly disappointing. It's been as bad, perhaps, as the 2007 fiasco World Cup. But, and this is T20 where you can say that things can go topsy-turvy. There's no excuse. They played badly. They should have been in the semi-finals. And I just don't buy these excuses of biosecure bubble and this, that, and the other. For God's sake, Afghanistan team was there. I mean, the entire country got rebooted. Forget about biosecure bubble and being on the road and playing fatigue and all that. So you got into this tournament with your eyes open, with your squad behind you. You knew what the challenges were. You knew that the first two teams that you were going to play were Pakistan and New Zealand. And you knew you had to win at least one match
out of
be
the big two,
assured of a place in the semis. And that's where you bombed the first two matches.
Well, bombed is a very right word. I think they did bomb in this tournament, and there's no excuse for that. You are international level athletes. You get everything that you ask for, and you have to perform in the big stage. But speaking of some of the things that have been brought out by the team itself, not just by fans, let me play out what Bharat Arun has said on the toss being an undue factor as far as this tournament is concerned.
See, I'm not trying to give any excuses, but I think this World Cup, the trend has been the team that wins the toss has a big advantage, especially when you're playing in the Dubai Stadium. And so the wicket kind of eases out as when you come on to bowl the second time. It's no excuses. We should have done better. We should have batted better. And also the first match, we had a chance to defend our total, but we looked a little below par.
So, Wasim, we have discussed this, and there is no denying that the toss has been an important factor. But if you look at the results, especially as far as the main part of the tournament is concerned, it's actually not that heavily favoring the sides who are chasing. Sides batting one first have won. And I'm not talking about just against the minnows in India's group. It has happened quite a bit in the other group as well, where every team was a challenger. Wasim, that's for you. I think he's facing some audio issues. Vimal?
I think Bharat Arun contradicting himself. He's saying that we should not be giving excuses, and what he's doing is clearly he's giving excuses. Toss thing, I don't get it. Bharat Arun or any Indian captain will say when they win the toss on rank Turner and decide put a first beginning total, and they win on turning track. Virat Kohli lost the Chennai Test against the brilliance of England captain. And did anyone talk about toss? So historically, if you look at toss in cricket, historically, toss always gives an unfair advantage to teams which win more often than not. But great teams, champion teams, they do overcome all these things. I think the toss, due factor, pitches, umpire, these are all sore losers' toss. How can you blame?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think let me try and go across to Wasim once again. Ultimately, cricket is not a game of chance, Wasim. If toss was such a big deal, then you could just award the match after the toss was won. This is a game of skill. And to be a champion side, you've got to show your skill even when the toss goes against you or the conditions are against you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we played poorly. We got to admit, we were 3 down in the most important game. Rohit, KL Rahul, Surya Kumar Yadav out in the hut. And we needed to bat like, Josh Butler batted against Sri Lanka. He got 100, when they were also 37 for 3, but he ended up getting 100. That didn't happen. Rishabh Pant got out. Virat obviously got 57. But I mean, we were 20 short in that game. And against New Zealand, I think, we were much below par with our approach, with our intent, and even tactically, I feel we were very, very poor. I think, we didn't play our best cricket in this, the first 2 games. We were far
And then
too
we
late
were
in
always left
understanding
chasing
how
the
we-
8 ball
how-
because the equation was so against us. But
Yeah,
I do
I
want
think
to
so.
focus. Yeah, go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, I think we played our best cricket after those 2 games,
Yeah.
and it was too late and hoping for an upset of New Zealand or something would have happened.
Yeah, so
but
in
I
that
think
case,
it was far too late. Yeah.
the fact that we came right off the IPL and we didn't get dressed or we didn't get any camp, that is another thing that Bharat Arun has also mentioned. Bumrah mentioned in one of his press conferences that we've been in bubbles for 6 months and we've been playing non-stop. Of course, it didn't help that the IPL had to be truncated, then rescheduled just before the World Cup. Do you believe is that also a fair assessment, or is that also not fair because other teams have also suffered that?
No, I think, like I said before, that, apart from KL Rahul and, Bumrah in the bowling attack or Varun Chakravarti for a bit, all of our players, were not in red hot form. If you take Rohit Sharma, if you take Virat Kohli, you take Rishabh Pant, you take Hardik Pandya, they were not in red hot form coming into the big tournament. Their IPL was below par to their expectation or standard. So all of them, we were hoping that they'll click straight away. And like I said, we played the best 2 games at the start of the tournament. So they didn't get a time, they didn't get a Scotland or Namibia to, get them going. So
But they did have
that
2
was,
warm-up
one of
matches.
the major problems. But I think, now, all said and done, team, is looking to lean on the wall now. It's time to lean on the wall.
Okay, let me just now focus a little bit ahead because remember this is now done and dusted. This campaign is over for us, but we do have another T20 World Cup coming in just 12 months. So here's what the Indian team will need to do very quickly. Of course, there's a new captain now in this format that will be appointed. There's a new coach already in Rahul Dravid, so that automatically will bring that change in approach, which our experts believe was the biggest, a point. They will have to pick fresh talent from the players' pool. They will have to groom fast bowlers, especially for the Aussie pitches. They will have to find some addition to Bumrah, especially. They will have to even look for an all-rounder as a backup for Pandya. We cannot really be playing him if he's not fully fit. And that indeed was also a problem as far as this addition is concerned. They will have to identify the players for their core, a new core, and their key positions. Because as all of you were mentioning, one of the big criticism is we didn't know who's going to do what. In 12 months' time, less than 12 months' time, in fact, I asked, do you believe that a turnaround is possible?
Yes, I think that process must have already begun. If I know Rahul Dravid as much as I do, I think this is already something which is brewing in his mind. What is to be done step by step for a year from now when you enter the next T20 World Cup. So clearly, look, now there's a bit of a conundrum. Now, there have been complaints about too much fatigue playing and this, that, and the other. Now, when the team is to be chosen for the series against New Zealand, there's a 3-match T20 series against New Zealand. I don't know how many will put up their hands and say, we don't want to play because we are tired.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, wearing the India colors is always an important, there's so much competition, nobody wants to vacate a place.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of stars can afford that, the superstars. And also don't forget that in January, we are coming up for the mega auction of the IPL.
Yes.
And everybody wants to be on the radar of people who will be choosing teams for those, for the franchises. So I don't think that, it's such an easy choice for the selectors as well as for the players themselves.
Well, the players may not want to do it, but the selectors will have to swallow the hard pill, isn't it? At least they'll have to start trying it. Wasim, what do you think are the big things that the Indian setup needs to do ahead of the next World Cup?
I think they need to identify players. I mean, the guys who have done well in the IPL, obviously they need to look in and try and make a plan for the next World Cup. Like you said, it's, in between 12 months' time. So we need to identify who's going to play what role, and we need to be very clear. And our approach, needs to improve, especially in the multi-nation tournament. We can't be cautious. We can't be, defensive going into important games. This game is not about, being cautious and defensive. We need to come out, all guns blazing. So that approach needs to be changed, and we need to identify which players we are looking, 12 months time, who will be playing in that World Cup.
Yes, and really stick with that and be focused in that. I have to slip into a very short break. Stay with us, and I request our guests also to stay with us as we continue this and also, of course, look forward to the semi-final lineup.